There you go. Good evening, everybody. It's Jason Wampler. Swear to God, you'll be able to see me soon enough. Hold on. Well, I got kitty problems. I now have another cat. Her name is Nora, and she's trying to get out right now. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to let her. She's boxed in. She's an outdoor cat. Come on, sweetheart. This is Valencia. Anything I sit on, she always takes. And she's going to come back to the seat again. So I got to get it from her. Nora, come on up to the table. Anyway, my name is Jason Wampler. I'm the host of the Paxton, Valencia, and Nora show. Those three cats now own the place. They own the show too. I wanted to show you something. This is the middle section of this rocket. But I told you last night, or I didn't tell you, I promised I would take that external PVC coupler. I've got the world's slipperiest hands. God damn it. Oh, you can't get out that way either. That's crazy. It's the only thing keeping Valencia from getting outside and, shall I say, for lack of a better word, getting impregnated by Leonard. Leonard's a big cat. He's a big tabby cat. It looks kind of like Nora, but a lot bigger and muscular, more muscular. Anyway, okay. So she's trying to get out, and I just kind of want her to stay inside. Nora's getting into a lot of trouble. She's trying to defend her territory. She's got two different male suitors coming after her. She doesn't, she either may be pregnant or she just doesn't want to get pregnant anymore. So she's fighting off these male cats. She's the little black cat I told you about a long time ago. Her name is Ashley. Ashley's now come back here 2 times in a row. So either somebody took her in and then moved out of the apartment complex, and now Ashley is homeless again. That's a cat, not a human being. And I named Ashley. I gave Ashley her name about 1.5 years ago. But this is Nora right here. Nora and I have had an ongoing friendship for a long time. She's been an outdoor cat. The territory of the entire apartment complex is too big for her britches. Anyway, we're talking about rockets right now. This is an external PVC coupler. I reduced the outer diameter of this external PVC coupler more than 50%. I took over 65% of the outer diameter of this coupler off using nothing, but a belt sander. And I want to show you that belt sander amongst the stuff I'm going to return and get money for. By the way, did I say today is Wednesday? I think I did. I'm not absolutely positive. Oh goodness, so where is the glue? I don't know. See, I need the glue. Where the heck is the glue? You know what? Oh, by the way, this guy right here, Paxton, oh, he's out of frame. You can't see him. Paxton is Nora's daughter, the cat, that black and white cat with the large testicles that I'm petting right now. Oh, God dang it, where did I put the glue? People, please. Oh, there we go. One right there. Right next to, okay, I'm going to have enough parts to build another launch controller. I want to return these parts because they're in excess. I have to do that before 8 o'clock. When see here you go. This is Paxton. Paxton is Nora's son, and she's starting to warm up to him again. There you go. See, this is her son. This is her son. This is her mother. Nora, you're really just okay. Nora wants to get out. She wants to get some food. She doesn't like being caged. She likes being outdoors. Okay, hold on. Guys, I'm going to change the frame here. Nora, you just go ahead and go outside. Okay, but I got to close the door, honey. So anyway, I wanted to share this with you. I took a belt sander, and I how do I say this? An electric belt sander, the 3x18 sandpaper belt. The belt sander itself is a mechanism that has 2 wheels on it, and It's you like put it on the ground and it rolls forward, but it drags sandpaper over two wheels. You're supposed to sand down surfaces with it. Well, it's such a good tool. It has multiple uses. So I ran my finger along the top of the belt sander, and let me just pull it out and show you what it looks like and how it works. Eventually, you're gonna need to do this for yourself. Imagine when I mentioned to you before, when you work in fabricating your own rockets, you know it's a great defined thin wall of PVC material like this. It makes for a heavier rocket, but you know if you build your rocket right and the recovery system works properly, you'll get 50 or 60 launches. Well, not that many, maybe 25 launches out of the same rocket airframe. And you won't have to keep building rockets. But if you enjoy building rockets and you want to add to the high number of rockets to your collection, that's up to you as well. However, finding coupling material for the body tubes that you choose is not going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be close to impossible. In fact, most of the time, you're going to have to fabricate the coupling material. So this was, and it still is, a 1-inch outer PVC, outer coupler. It slips over 1-inch PVC pipe. This, of course, being, of course I shaved off, this of course being 1 1/4 inch. So this is a 1/4 inch wider. That makes all the difference in the world. But this slips over 1-inch PVC pipe, joins two PVC pipe tubes end to end, and it fits on the external diameter of the tubes. Okay, so now he's hearing his mother's voice. Goodness gracious, I can't really shoot a show with all these kitties. I changed my studio getup. I got rid of the tripod because I didn't like the way it was performing. It's a very poorly made camera support. So I got this connected to the door now, which is why anytime the cats talk up and they make trouble, they want to do certain things. I'm closing the blinds so you didn't see outside. I have to open the door, let them out. Nora's just gonna have to stay in there and keep to herself. Anyway, with this on, this belt moves in that direction. What you do, and I guess this is helpful, I might as well just show you this. You grab the 1-inch external PVC coupler, and you just keep sanding and sanding it until you get a smaller diameter. You sand it against, you roll it against the direction of the sandpaper belt's movement, and then you reverse it and you do the same thing. Initially, you press it down really hard, but you might want to consider wearing gloves for this, because believe it or not, PVC can transfer a lot of heat. It can actually heat up in your hands and hurt. This is a tough means to do this. What's tough is the fact that people don't have $750 lying around to go to Harbor Freight and buy themselves a miniature jeweler's lathe. If you had a miniature jeweler's lathe, and I say it's not that miniature because the things weigh nearly 250 pounds, they're solid metal, and you can put variable gearing on them to vary the speed. They're like dark brick red in color. They work absolutely wonderful. I bought one a long time ago when they were only $600, and I gave it away because I felt I'd never need it again. I didn't think that I would get into the rocket instruction business. Anyway, but here I am. So anyway, when you put it in a lathe, you can always set it to set the needle. There's a certain way to set lathes up to where you run along the length of the coupler, and setup would take probably about 5 or 10 minutes, but the action itself would take less than 30 seconds to reduce it to the same size. Doing this method took me nearly 35 minutes, and it was a lot of effort. It's a great exercise. It builds your upper body muscles, for the guys, for the girls. I know that girls don't want a large upper body, but you know what I mean. It's good to work out. So it takes longer. These guys you can pick up used for about 30 or 40 bucks. So right now, if you don't have the cash for a very, very, for a large, well-equipped, ventilated shop, then, which is what I don't yet, but it looks like that money source, that extra, it's not money, that income source that I'm vying for today is going to be coming through. So with a little bit more in the way of regular funds, I'm going to start to build up a shop. We may end up moving into the next room of my one-bedroom apartment and setting up some type of shop with a remedial shop with a dust recovery system, and you'll be in on that as well. In the meantime, this is where we're at. I no longer work outdoors, and the reason being is I do believe that somebody has got me under surveillance. I don't think it's the U.S. government so much as I think it might be like a private company. They want to engage in industrial espionage, but I don't know what secrets they can take from me. I'm not how do I say this? I don't have all the money in the world. I may have good ideas for airframe design, but I'm just a yutzpah. You never know how desperate these people are to get trade secrets. And people don't hire you just because you got talent anymore. It's just, the whole industry is kind of turned on its head right now. But enough of that. We got kitties and we got commentary. We're supposed to be talking about rockets. And I'm sorry. I'm also thirsty. But anyway, so like me, you buy something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, as that saying goes. So I got this used for $15 at a garage sale at my own house back in Costa Mesa. By a guy named Omar. I don't know what his last name was, but he sold it to me for $15. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I like power tools with cords. What in the world am I ever going to use a belt sander for? Well, here we are, nearly 5 years later, and this is one of the single most used tools I've got for machining down the outer diameter of motor, how do I say it, body tubes, not body tube, couplers. Without this, guys, you're not going to find the right size body tube, and I'm not going to recommend using craft paper, building it up, putting it in a press, and steaming it with epoxy and making your own rolls that way either. I don't like craft paper at all. In fact, I don't really like vacuum bagging craft paper either. I don't like craft paper, period, because the stuff does not react well to the weather. If you want to make your rockets out of craft paper and not Garolite double X or Garolite triple X or phenolic, or PVC plastic, if you insist on making your rockets out of craft paper, that's fine. That's your choice. But I want you to know, number one, the stuff is not impact proof. Number two, the stuff will not react well to being left outdoors. Even leaving it in your garage. Unfortunately, there's no flooring insulation. There's no heat and moisture insulation in your garage. So if you store craft paper rockets, even large ones that you took a lot of effort into finishing and painting, even the ones you vacuum bagged with fiberglass, you're going to come out one day, you're going to find out, unfortunately, that craft paper material is going to deteriorate. It's going to degrade, and it's going to start to peel on the spirals, the ends where it's used the most. And you can't shave the stuff, you can't sand the stuff, you can't machine it. And I'll be honest with you, I just don't like the stuff for those reasons. You have what's called quantum tubing from public missiles. If you want to get that, that's fine. I'll show you how to use that as well. It's a little expensive for my taste, but public missiles has served the model rocket, the high-power experimental model rocket, sport rocket industry faithfully for a very, very long time. And you can bet that when you get anything from public missiles, it's going to be built up they'll give you a square deal, any product you get from public missiles is going to be very, very durable and reliable and strong. So you're going to have to pay for it. I'm just trying to offer you an alternative, which requires a little bit of effort on your part and a little bit of what's called elbow grease. So you have to put some effort into shaving these down. 35 minutes doing that and feeling hot PVC and getting dust all over the place. I know it's not that much of a trade, but the other option is to get that $750 lathe from Harbor Freight, or see if you can find a miniature lathe online for sale for like $300 or $400, and you're golden. I'll show you how to set those up. I'll show you how to use those as well. Lathes are not as complicated as you look. If there's something, they look intimidating, but once you get the basic concept of how to handle them, how to service and adjust them, and how to work with them, they're actually very, very simple. They're very easy to use. They have a lot of moving external parts, but that's because of the function they perform. You run this, you spin this like this, and on a long axis of the actual stalk and the tail stalk and the actual arbor itself, you turn along the side of a tube or a rod, and you machine it that way. You machine it down, or you machine steps in it, and such and so forth, while it's spinning at a rotary axis. That's it. And if you want to put an angle cut, you basically the cutting tool, which you wind in and then drag sideways. So if there's an A and a B axis on the cutting bit, you just move it sideways. And same thing, you run it in, you run it along the angle of a solid piece of bar stock, and all of a sudden you put a tip on the bar stock, and it looks completely professional. Just watch your feeds, watch your feed speed, watch your rate of feed, and watch your RPMs, and consider the materials you're working with. Set up the cutting tool correctly. That's it. For me, it took me all of about 15 minutes to learn how to use a lathe. I'm not the swiftest, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. For other people, it may take a day. Some people a couple of days. Some people an hour. Some people like myself, it only took me 15 minutes. Now I'm intimidated by other machine tools like lathes, or not lathes, but like wood lathes. I have a hard time with. I have a hard time setting them up, and I don't really trust them that much. But there's something called a mill, which works vertically. It descends, but does A and B, and also descends, so it does C as well. You can do more work with a mill, and it's better than a drill press, but it's the opposite direction of a lathe. I want to learn how to use those. They're not that bad, but it takes more time to understand. Anyway, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually commit to some action here. So this tube is going to fit in here in the inner diameter, and Nora's out there yowling. And I got to tell you, that cat drives me nuts. I can't keep this door open. I'm thinking maybe I'll figure out getting a little $2 tripod stand from always wipe the tip off, by the way, from 99-cent store. I don't know if I have a reason to go there. However, I do have some money on a store gift card for Walmart, and I haven't gone to Walmart today. I have to take my daily redneck trip to Walmart. Maybe I'll do that. I'll look for just a little cheap tripod stand. And you know what I'll do? I'll put it right there instead of on the door. I like the acoustics, the way things echo with the door shut. But with that door shut, it limits what I can keep my eye on. Kitty's Paxton and Valencia. Valencia's on the TV, Paxton's behind me. But Nora, for whatever reason, she's a really neurotic cat. She just needs to keep moving back and forth and pacing. She can't really relax. So I like to keep this door open. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe I won't. We'll just see how it goes. Oh, anyway, so look what I'm going to do. And guys, I know this is kind of complicated. It's not really step by step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop up the entertainment value, the production, and the production quality of the videos themselves. I'm trying to be a better, more fluent speaker. But you know, it's I don't want to call it rocket science, but this is rocket design, engineering, and building. It can be a wry subject. I like to dress things up, and I like to go step by step. But I don't know. I kind of drew myself into my own trap by starting with this, by getting into this twin-engine rocket. However, it seems to me I could, you know what? I think I know what I am going to do. So I got a couple things to return to. Oh my God, that's right. You know what? That just occurred to me. Okay, so I think I know what I'm going to do. Good idea, Jason. Anyway, I got to get to Walmart before the customer service closes down at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to. I put a hole in there. I would have to put a hole in this because they're naturally sealed. So I'm gonna just put a little teeny bit of super glue in the inner diameter near the edge. Okay, we're gonna leave that sitting there. Always put the cap back on the glue so it doesn't stick to the tabletop. I'm stuck with this table, by the way, but I gotta be honest with you, that's just fine because I can't give this up. I cannot keep compromising my grip on this channel. So this is my studio right here. Behind me is the bed I sleep on. Don't ask how I sleep. Okay, I'll tell you, not very well. Okay, so hold on. Okay, let's see. Nope, not quite square. Let's see how this fits on here. And no. Oh. You know what? That's fine. Glad that happened. That was a blessing that happened. Okay, so let it dry. Hold on though. No. God damn it. You know what? I think I may have goofed up. I hope this doesn't glue to this body tube. This would be a real bummer if it did. And kind of like I don't like to do these operations when I'm filming myself. And I don't have... Well, I'll be damned. I have doomed myself. You know what? Hold on. I tell you, this stuff just never works out the way you want it to. I screwed up again. Okay, so things turned out a little bit differently. I didn't want this to happen, but such is life. Well, shucks. I don't know how the hell this happened. You know what I think? I think when I was talking, I wasn't paying attention to what the hell I was doing. And I think I know what happened. Guys, if you remember, I'll review the tape as well. I put the glue on this part. I meant to put it on this part. Whoops. Well, let's see how it goes. Okay, so pretty goddamn tight fit, if you ask me. Yeah, too fucking tight. Jeez, man. Okay, well, I'm getting frustrated. Let me put this tool away. It's demonstration time is over. Okay, so I've got to do damage control. I just made a mistake. You know what I can do, or I can talk. I don't think I can do both. It is rocket science. Get this body taken care of. Okay, so this is a little tight. Remember, so I said too, I remember what I said, don't do this way, and I am a victim. Oh my goodness. Hello? Oh goodness, people. Okay. You know, guys, I make a lot of mistakes. Doggone it. Well, shucks. You know, one of my old instructors, Dr. David Walker, used to say back when I was in college, in my shop, perfect is good enough, and this ain't perfect. So, damn. I may end up having to correct this one. Gosh darn it. Well, shucks. Then again, I'm just gonna have to machine it and fix it. No, I'm not repairing. I am repairing. I'm not gonna rebuild it. Okay, so here's what we do next. We've got all 3 sections of this rocket. That's a little bit tight, so that's perfect. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. What a bloody mess. What a bloody mess. I'm from the Confidential Committee on Moral Abuse. Committee of Moral Abuse. Yes, ma'am. Sand this guy down. Make sure it fits in the lower body tube a little bit better. I tell you what we're going to do with this rocket. Let's just keep going on this rocket. We're going to do. We're going to start building anchor spools. As the spools include 1 bar with 2 round plates attached to it. But I'll show you what I mean when we get to that tomorrow. So I'm gonna sand this down, make it fit a little easier. That's just naturally rolling. So. Yeah, that's as perfect as it's gonna get. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. One other thing, you need to keep track of timing. Static timing of the body tubes. When you're putting a rocket together, you only have to worry about static timing of a body tube or assembly. When you're gluing it together, but just one time, you only have to worry about, the timing it properly, static timing it properly, just the one time, because it's a process whereby you're fixing or assembling a permanent structure. These particular sections of the body tube are not permanent. So somebody does try to split, what do I do about it? Let's check the Fed again. I'm looking around a violent movie called Blade Runner. The first one came out in 1981. Still a little too tight. So let's sand it down again. I'm going to clean out the top of the table again. So let's see how this fits. I like it. It's a little bit looser. Okay, that's, you see the minimum amount of effort, there's a slight drag with a slip fit. And no broken broomstick or London chimney weeble wobble. You kind of rotate it so all the gaps are filled in, but you know what? That's the best it's gonna get. Next thing I need to do is I need to give myself a face sander so I can start square cutting the ends of these tubes. As hard as I try, I cannot get that perfect right angle finish on the top of these tubes. This is a subsonic rocket. It's not a transonic one, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. We're going to leave this in this position, and what we're going to do, we're going to find that red magic marker pen of mine, which better be in here, otherwise if it isn't, I'm going to scream. I guess I don't have to scream. Here it is. Milwaukee, Inksol, fine point. Rubbed out numbers. Got this at McFadden a long time ago. My, what a gap. Close that. Okay, so that's okay. So we got the closest closed gap right here. So sometimes you have to rotate the tubes. You want this little gap between the two ends of the body tube, and of course make note. So you want to mark it right there with 1, 2, 3, and that is 1, 2, and 3. I'm kind of looking at that ink blotching. Okay, I think I've got my goodness. I'm gonna look at that. Okay. So in other words, this tube rotates and fits this tube the best in this particular time position. You see the marks I put. This material still has a little bit of what seems like moisture in it, or maybe it's not as finished as the lower body tube is. So the ink scattered a little bit. I tried to put 3 dots there, and on this tube, since it's been finished differently with different grit sandpaper, that guy, and instead of scrubbed down with the kitchen scrubber, don't tell anybody, and some soap, so that they're spreading differently. But I got that line there, and let me just put another line. By the way, this stuff is going to go away when we sand down and paint this particular rocket. You know what it might have been that the surface is just so I had a little bit of moisture on it. Okay, so now look at this again. I know from there you can see the 3 red lines. This is the reason I put the lines there like that is if you're off a little like that or off a little like that, you know it's ill timed. You see a bit of an extra gap, a little bit of an air gap along the sides, probably around 8 to 10 thousandths. I don't want that, so we line those 3 lines up where I had it before. I eyeballed the gap, the full circumference of where the 2 ends of the body segments meet. Because I didn't do a perfect sanding job, because I don't have all the tools I need, because I'm broke. Right now I'm broke anyway. I had to just kind of eyeball and do my best. In this particular time position, these 3 lines on top of each other, you've got the best position for the tightest gap, full circumference between the 2 ends of the body tube. Now, repeat the process. This is a 3-segmented rocket. At least the body tube is in 3 segments. So we got the short end of the tube for the upper end here. And now we can take this bottom off for now, just to kind of save weight. And I'm going to eyeball it. I've kind of got the same problem, but there you go. We're going to, okay, so right there is the least amount of gap. Okay. And that's just the best it's going to get. So what I'm going to do is to really even up the pant legs, as the saying goes. I kind of like that saying. Is I'm going to line it up down here. Instead of having lines all over the place that I've got to keep rotating the body tubes to look for, I'm going to put these 3 lines Same way and the same general position on these two sections of body tube. One, but I'm going to put 2 instead of 3. What the heck. And there you go. And you can even do something fancy. Get the black magic marker. That's a Sharpie. I actually have 2 of them. So remember before I complained like 4 times in a row that I forgot to get these guys out of my car. Now I have 2 blacks and 1 red. 2 black Sharpies, 1 red Sharpie in the bucket now. So my cup runs over. We're not done just yet. We're gonna mark things. Remember down here. So now we're gonna. Okay, so what we're gonna do is on the same general side. These little black marks, they don't quite line up exactly the way I want them to. Well, this guy does, but we're going to redo the marks.
Wake up. Time to die.
Oh, that's ominous. Okay, so we're going to take the tops here, and we're going to mark it. The reason, again, we're timing this is so everything lines up symmetrically, and it just looks as good as possible, no air gaps, as tight as fitting as possible, etc., etc. This is 1 black line, 2 black lines. 1 black line, 2 black lines. This would be considered, if we're looking at it from this way, this is the port, upper engine housing, port engine. This is the starboard engine. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now everything is timed together. Now, what else you can do, if you're really, really zealous about it, if you're really feeling anal retentive, that's what all these marks on these rockets are for. When somebody builds a rocket, you see letters and numbers on it. They want to line everything up, one on top of the other. So we're going to put this, this is BTS. That looks terrible. 1. Okay, this is at the top here, BTS 1, BTS 2, circle around it. I know, honey. I know, honey. I gotta go too. And then BTS 3. So I shouldn't be so afraid to write it a little bit larger. Nora, be quiet. That gal just does not know what she wants. That's a little female kitty, Paxton's mother. Boy, is she a bright and colorful kitty. Okay, so now we have a bunch of writing on the rocket. I don't know if you can see that, but now we know what motors, if we take these motors off, we're going to put them back on. We know where they go and how they're clocked, and we leave it that way. The motor tubes, we separated them to reload the electronics and payload bay, which is this section right here. We have everything marked. The particular body segments of the rocket are now numbered and timed, or nomenclatured and timed. So anyway, that's all the... No, she's got her... Hi, Nora. I see your claw under the door. Are you stuck? No, she wants to come in or she wants to go out. Anyway, 7:52. How in the world did that happen? Well, I'll see what I can do. Hey, folks, at this point in time, I've got to call it. I do have to see what I can do about turning this stuff in and getting some money for it and putting that towards a camera tripod. One last particular, shall I say, step for refining my studio. Instead of hooking the phone, my smartphone, to a clamp that has been double-sided taped to the back side or the whatever side of the door you want to call it of my bedroom. So let's see how that works out. I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to pull that one off tonight. Maybe I'll just let that sleeping dog lie, and I'll do something like that tomorrow. I got some other stuff to return, get some money for, get a credit on, etc., etc. I do know what I do want to do, and that is maybe get another section of this tube, because this guy, as you can tell, I hope. By the way, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. The total overall length of this rocket, I mean, if you get the idea, that's pretty much, I mean, it looks to me about roughly 6 feet tall, and right now in my hands, I'd say it weighs about probably 3 or 4 pounds. So height and weight are not that bad. We're not in really bad shape. We got nomenclature and timing marks on it, so we know which end is up. What I'm thinking is for tomorrow, we need to get on to those anchor spools and lower shock cord, lower and extreme upper shock cord halves. And this rocket, since it has 2 sections, it's going to have 2 parachutes, 2 drogues for the parachutes, and 4 different shock cord halves. So I'm going to need to go somewhere and get some recovery type shock cord. I have a lighter and some and of course some securing ferrules, and I'm going to show you guys how to make shock cords and anchor spools, and hopefully we can do all that tomorrow because I've got the hardware. I don't have the eye bolts, and I don't have the aluminum ferrules. I don't have the tool for properly crimping and compressing those ferrules. I might figure on doing things a different way. I used to glue the ends, the shock cords together, but you know what? In the process of learning exactly how to correctly build rocket airframes, I kind of moved away from that. I just don't feel comfortable with it. But me describing it as opposed to me actually showing you what I'm talking about doesn't really work. I want you to see what we're talking about. So tomorrow we're going to do the recovery system anchor spools, and the recovery system anchor spool for this guy with lower shock cord is going to be housed somewhere down here, far down enough. It's going to have far down enough that I'll be able to house the parachute and drogue here. And now this will be the big parachute with the longer shock cords. Up here, we're going to anchor the motor spool, the uppermost anchoring motor spool with its extreme upper shock cord right around here, give it as much room for a smaller parachute, maybe no drogue, and the other shock cord. And then in here is going to be our payload bay, and we're going to make we're making a spool shelf. I know that sounds crazy. A spool shelf out of those circular plates that we're going to be needing for the anchor spools as well. We're going to cut a bunch of those. I'm keeping that gray polycarbonate, the stuff that's like 3/16 of an inch thick. It's gray polycarbonate. I'm almost positive it's polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is the same material that's used on your eyeglass lenses. It's a wonderful, fantastic material. It's not quite good enough for automotive use. If they were able to scratch-proof polycarbonate, I'd say it'd be great for car windows. But right now, it's relegated to eyeglasses. What I have is a gray polycarbonate. It's non-translucent. It's a solid color. And I got it for $10. And usually remnants like that, I get them almost for free from Paragon Plastics. But I guess they're tightening things up financially as well. I don't mind. It's excellent material. When you use the circle saws, we're going to start cutting and machining anchor spool material, and then of course the shelving spool as well. The shelving spool is going to be a little bit different in construction than the anchor spools themselves. We're going to use a lot of material for that, and we're going to have to design it differently because it's housing electronics, and it's going to be a new process for me. I want to start something that doesn't twist torsionally and loosen up the bolts. But again, that'll be tomorrow. Nora is yelling at me. She wants to get out. Her little claw is still under the door. Very persistent animal, a very, very loud voice, and she's predisposed to brawling. Let me see what I can do about getting my money back for these two little fellas anyway. After closing. And I can apply that towards a tripod that I can put right here instead of on the door. I'll just see how that works out. You've been a great audience. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave comments. Nobody's leaving comments. I know this is overwhelming material, but I'd like to maybe get in touch with somebody who has a technical know-how to really lay into me and criticize me about all the mistakes I'm making. I'm not being sarcastic about that. But anyway, the build is going well. It's starting to look like a real rocket. Once the following days, we're going to complete the spool shelving, the anchor spools, and the shock cords. So today is Wednesday, so probably through to Saturday we're going to be working on that. On Sunday, mark my words, on Sunday we're going to begin construction of the nose cone. But I still haven't. I promised I would, but I haven't. I have not decided as to whether or not I just want to make the plug and have somebody else mold the nose cones for us, or if I just want to make things the old-fashioned way. If we make the nose cone plugs and we have them molded, then we're going to have to develop a system for fastening weights to the nose cone, because I know this rocket for a fact is it's going to be bottom heavy and it's boat-tailed. So we want the center of gravity calculation to be on point. That center of pressure calculation that I told you about, that is all critical, because all the trouble that we're putting into this rocket to design it in the performance features and its beauty and its cosmetics and its aesthetics and such and so forth, it's all going to go to waste if it can't launch off the pad properly. Not to mention the fact that we've got electronics to go. We have to figure out how to ignite the motors. If we're going to do traditional, we're going to use what's called RCHEI ignition. RCHEI, I'll explain that later. The separation recovery system and parachutes. How are we going to do that? Then, of course, we're going to put a nice coat of paint on this, a green, but if you have any suggestions for colors, everything but pink, for obvious reasons. You guys, if you want to have a suggestion for a name and a color for this rocket, it will be a day launch rocket, so it needs to be a bright primary color that's easily visible in the sky up to maybe, like, say, 3,000, 5,000 feet. And we're going to have, because you need the spotters, they need to have something to spot. If it's a sky color, it's not going to be visible at all, but it would be a night launch vehicle with a bright light color. Anyway, so that's that. I'm rambling on. Nora's driving me nuts, and I got to get going to Walmart, one of my favorite places to go and have fun. Thank you very much. My name is Jason Wampler, and I have been your host. Another episode of The Rocket Minute.
This is the friend was telling you about. This is my savior, J.S. Sebastian.
And that's it. We're turning it off. Rock.